Hey, what's up, everybody? So, XRP got a little bit of a pullback from yesterday. We got all the way up to about 258, almost 260. We had the news, the lawsuit is officially over. But of course, everybody knew that was coming, right? So, any type of news event really isn't going to be too much sustainable. But the fact that the real news here is that we didn't break down, right? The rest of the market has been going down, 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 down. But XRP has been holding in a range. And that in itself is part of the lawsuit as well, right? So, but if there were still concerns that the lawsuit might not be finished, maybe it could have broken down easily, right? Because you compare that to something like Bitcoin, you can see here is Bitcoin's range, and you can see we broke below the range, obviously. And then even worse than that, you could see something like Theta, where not only it broke the range, but it just crashed all the way, even taking the lows out back from last summer, which is pretty insane. But I think it's very oversold, and I think we should see ultimately some type of retrace. So that's what I'm thinking. We're going to get a big retrace for the price of Theta, right? You could see a three-wave move up. You could see a three-wave move down. Before I would do it like this, but actually this would be more correct because it's more in the same scale. So we have three waves up, we have three waves down, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in here, right? We have waves of equal length. We took the liquidity down here. So it just seems to me that we need to create some kind of base and go into some type of retracement over the next several months. So we'll see how that plays out. But really, we want to see Bitcoin holding these lows in here, kind of create a little bit of a base, get back up to about 100K or so. Because there's still a chance that this thing, we have a nice three-way pullback. We have an expanded flat, boom, 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 right? And remember, this expanded flat is actually kind of looks like this expanded flat. Boom, boom, boom. That's a massive expanded flat. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. This is also something similar. Expanded flat, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. So actually, where did that pull back to on the fib level? Let's see if I... So look at that. We perfectly nailed the 1618 here. So if you take this retracement right there, you could see we perfectly pinpoint nailed it, like on the dot. So that was a really good level. Now this one over here, definitely different. But you can see we didn't quite make it down there. I mean, that would have been a really big drop. The magnitude is just way different. So, but the structure is very similar. But yeah, there we go. So now it's going to be about getting back to the top. And let me draw it from here down to here. Roughly 100K, right? So the big thing is, are we going to get a fifth wave, or are we just going to get only a retrace? That's what we're trying to, that's what really is going to make it or break it, right? So if we can get, because I really think this has the potential to be some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can go up and get 5, right? If not, then this is going to make some kind of three-wave move into a retrace, and then we would probably get 5 down or even 3 down, right? And it becomes a bigger three-wave move. And then from there, we would probably get back to here, and then we would probably make another retrace before maybe another hit to the high or back lower. So it's all going to be about what happens here. I think we can come back and hit the high here. But really, it's going to be about XRP because XRP is in a much better position. The reason why is because you could see the downward resistance line. We really are right at the cusp of a big breakout here for XRP. So as soon as we break above this downward resistance line, we don't really have much to go. I mean, we have this area here, this area here, and this area here. We really only have 3 little areas before we can really start to break out and have no overhead resistance going all the way up past $4. So I think that's coming. And again, if Bitcoin is just going to go into a lousy retrace, that's still going to give us a big move, right? So that move translated here could be a lot bigger because there's not a lot of work involved. Like, for example, Bitcoin has to get through a lot of these different levels here, right? So it's gonna be a challenge getting through them, but I think it's definitely in the cards. And then as we see that, we can also see things like theta. Just by getting back to the top, I mean, you're looking at 250% just to get back to the top. So I think at minimum, we should get back up to $1.50, up to that $2 area, right? But I think even higher than that, if we get some positive momentum on our side. When we look at XRP versus Bitcoin, it actually looks even more bullish. It looks like, to me, on the 2-day chart, we have this lovely, what seems to me, an ascending triangle. I love ascending triangles. They work out pretty nicely when they are the real deal. So there you go. There's your ascending triangle, and we've actually broken above the ascending triangle. And notice we did it right at about the 70% mark, is that's exactly where you want to break it out. A lot of times they break too early, and then they have to come back into the triangle. So you want the triangle to be at least 70% plus complete before to look for a breakout, right? So if this is like 50%, right, and this is more like 70%, 80%, 100%. So we did pretty good. And then you could see yesterday we had a 2-day close, and we closed above this ascending triangle, right? And today's candle is actually coming down to backtest the breakout of the descending triangle. You can see, right, we got the breakout, this candle here, we wicked down and we tested it, and then we wicked right off of it. So that's a good sign. That's a breakout, and then we back tested it. So if we can sustain above this line here, what is that, 2857 satoshis, right, then we can be on our way. So yeah, I think it looks pretty decent here. Now, there is a chance, though, that this could be a B wave, right? There's always a chance. So I'm thinking that this move here is an A, B, and a C. It's a flat. It's an expanded flat, right? And then we have a 1, 2, and then we have another 1, 2. So let's see if we can get going here. Obviously, that would be the idea. But if that's not the idea, then this could be like either, there's a couple of them, really, 3 down, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3 up, something like that. And then we get 3 back down, or even 5 back down, then go up. So 3 down, 3 up, 5 down, then go. So it's a more complex 3-wave correction. Or this could be an A, and now we're flagging out for a B, and then we're going to come down and make a C. So A, B, C. So something like this, right? This is a B wave. We're going to come down and then go up, right? But then you kind of got your head and shoulders here, and it's going to trick everybody, and it's going to look like it's going to break down, but it's actually not. So that would be maybe 3 down, maybe 3 up, and then 3 back down. You could say that's ABC, or but it really depends. But we're right here at the retracement levels. Let's see exactly where we are on this chart. So not using the wick, we're right in the golden zone. If we do use the wick, we're actually between the 618 and the 702, which is pretty good. So we're right there, right in the main, I would say between the 618 and the 702 is really the main meat and potatoes of the actual retrace level. So that is the area that we need to break through, especially the 702. So can we break it by the time the weekly candle ends? Maybe. We have, here's our weekly candle here, and it looks pretty decent. So let's see if we can keep doing it here. I mean, we got our flat here, and we're kind of like channeling upwards too, if you will, kind of like a reverse flag. And these reverse flags are really, really bullish. Let me show you. So if you look here, right? So if you look, we came down, we had a bottom, and then we had a double bottom, right? Or it was really a 1-2, right? So this was that first wave up, and then we kind of flagged out like this, right? And the idea is to break up. And let me show you an example of that on Bitcoin here. Here's one example where you had your bottom, right? There's your bottom, and then you had that first wave up, and then look what you did. You had this sort of reverse flag, and you kind of flagged out like this, and you can see, you know, it kind of created this same kind of flat pattern in here. And then after that, it kind of had, it was kind of, you know, playing around a little bit, like you had 3 down, right? Or actually, let's see, 3 down. No, that would be a 3-wave move there, and then you would have A, B, and then this would be the C, and then the 1-2, 1-2, go. It's definitely complex. It's definitely tricky, but basically you're channeling up and then you break out. So there's also another example right over here. Same kind of thing, right? You got your bottom, and then pretty much that first leg breaking above the high, you have this little flag here, this reverse flag, and you can see very similar here, right? You have that flat right there, and then you kind of play around a little bit and then go, and it's kind of like this, you know, because when you think of a bull flag, you think of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you flag out like you're bull flagging, right? But sometimes you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then flag upwards like this. It's definitely more dangerous this way because you create bearish divergence, and I prefer it flagging out to the downside than the upside. But a lot of times when they do flag out this way, they're actually sometimes more bullish because they have, instead of starting from way down here, you're starting from way up here, right? So you have a lot more momentum on your side. There's even another example kind of right here. You could see the reverse flag, kind of how you have your bottom, and it's always that first wave up, and then you kind of flag out like that and then go, right? So let's go back to XRP, and then we can look at the example again here. So same kind of thing, actually XRP versus Bitcoin, right? So you have your first little bottom here, you come up, and then you're kind of flagging out like that right near the top of here. So if all goes well, we could see a big sort of push to the upside here. All right, because the idea is to get back to this level up in here, these levels right there. So yeah, this leg can definitely get us up there. So that's where I'll be probably taking profits. I think maybe maybe an interesting thing to do would be to rotate it into a little bit of Bitcoin here, but probably cash, because if Bitcoin's going to be in a bear market for a while, probably be better just to have cash at that point. So yeah, let's see if we can get that push coming up soon. Now, when we look at other coins like Near, Algo, XLM, HBAR, ADA, I mean, they all have really good shapes. I really like Near, right? You got this nice impulse, and you got this beautiful three-way pullback. How could anybody be bearish right now? I mean, of course we're bearish because we've had a lot of downward price action and sentiment is in the gutter and your portfolios are down, so you feel kind of yucky, you feel kind of that way. But at the same time, we should be getting close to a bottom here, especially when we see these three-wave shapes. Now, versus if we had a big drop like this, that would be a lot more bearish because this has more oscillation. This is just like dumping like fast versus this. This is much different than this, right? This is flagging out. This should break to the upside. So we should get a big breakout. And we have 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So everything is lining up the way it should be lining up. There's no bullish divergence, but we do have it on the daily, and that's good enough for me. So it usually starts there. So far, do I think we're just going to go right there? No, I think it's going to take some time. I think, we have this little three-wave move up. Maybe we kind of, drizzle, torture, and make everybody really bearish, and then kind of start to go up, maybe creating some kind of base in here, right? I think the lows will get tested again. You can see we got some resistance here. So if we kind of flag out a little bit, maybe we can get a little bit higher, making a bigger 3, and then another 3, and then, so we want to see structure. We want to see this. We want to see something, right? All we have is a move down and a three-wave move up. So we need more time, more structure, and that way it'll start taking shape. So I think that's about it for that. ADA, same thing, really. Three-way pullback, kind of just chilling in here, waiting. Litecoin. I didn't talk about Litecoin yesterday, but yeah, I'm looking at this as a flat, right? We got 3 waves down. Okay. You got 3 waves up. And then you also have 3 waves down. There's your flat right there, A, B, C, right? And this could be a wave 1, and this could be a wave 2. So, but most likely it's something like this, where you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and then this is 1, 2, 3 back down. So it's like a flat, right? This is a very interesting flat. I mean, it looks really good because the proportions are really nice, right? You have really good proportionality. So and you got a big dump and you're building a base in here. So are we going to have one more hit to the low? Let's see. If I zoom in a little bit, you could see that we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5 waves, and now we're building a base. We're kind of going sideways. So we want to build that base, and then eventually we want to start working our way back up. That's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, if we develop the base and we have another low, then at that point, that's when we want to see the divergence. We want to see base building and then get a retrace. It'll just take a little bit longer. But even if we have one more push to the downside, I still think we're going to get that. So then I would count it like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 4, that's 5. So 1, 2, all of that 3, 4, and then 5. Divergence between the 4th and the 5th, and then go. If we break to the downside, because if this is kind of like a bear flag here, and we're kind of coming down, we're flagging out, and then we have to hit the low again, maybe a double bottom or maybe a little bit lower. Same thing with, theta. This is kind of flagging out down here. Let's see if we can come back down and then start working our way back up. So that's what I want to see. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. I will catch you guys on the next one. If you can hit that like, subscribe. Remember, this is not financial advice. I could be totally wrong. So always know that. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.